the most popular drink in Argentina isn't alcohol, isn't an alcoholic drink.
It's coffee.
It's called mate, and I have it
Ah,
here.
I knew it. Mate. Yes, 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 yes. Hello, Mariel. And thank you so much for joining us for this episode. How are you feeling today?
I am feeling great, feeling really great. Thank you, Pavel, for letting me be part of this episode. I'm very happy to talk to you about my country.
Oh, I'm so excited! As you can see, I just put the flag of Argentina as well. I saw your surprise face, which made me very happy as well. Um, Before we jump, are we going to be talking about Buenos Aires? Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm from. I could also like say other things about other parts of the country,
Okay.
as I've been to most of it. I know most of the country.
Mhm.
But yeah, Buenos Aires would be the place I know the most.
Perfect. Then let's start with Buenos Aires for now, and then later on, maybe in another episode, we can go and backpack Argentina, maybe for a bit. But before we hop on the plane and go to Buenos Aires, I and my audience, what we like to do at the beginning is just get to know our tour guide for the day. So, as most of my guests, I don't really know you. I haven't met you live. We just exchanged a few messages. So, why don't you tell me and my audience, like, who are you, like where did you grow up, like how do you know about things and traveling, like just something about you.
Okay, fantastic. As you said before, I'm Mariel in Spanish.
Mhm.
So I'm from Argentina, from Buenos Aires. I grew up here, but I was born in Brazil, which
Oh,
is the neighbor country. So I'm Argentine Brazilian. I have both nationalities.
so your parents
Uh,
are Brazilian?
Not really. So my parents are from Argentina, but to Brazil for work.
Okay.
Well, just life happened, and I was born there. I have some family in Brazil, in Rio, but that's all. All my whole family is here in Argentina, and I actually grew up in a city called Quilmes, which is very near Buenos Aires. It's actually the main brewery in Argentina. The main beer is Quilmes. So I grew up there, which is very near Buenos Aires, only like 20 minutes, 30 minutes by car.
Hmm.
So it belongs to it's called Gran Buenos Aires. It's the suburb region of Buenos Aires. And I grew up here. I'm a translator and a Spanish teacher. I've been teaching Spanish for like 10 years and the last 5 years online because I wanted to be able to travel more. And actually, so I consider myself a digital nomad. I
Okay.
travel together with my husband, Mariano. And so we started traveling like that. We consider ourselves nomads for 5 years. We've been traveling around South America and Europe for the
So
last 4 years.
are you, wow, congratulations. Here is a nice place to input that there, I'm from Bulgaria, and Bulgaria is I don't know if you know, but there are places in Bulgaria that are very suitable for digital nomads. They even have hubs for digital nomads. You know that?
Yeah, I've been to Bulgaria.
Oh,
Sofia
you.
is full of digital nomads. That's true. Yeah, I really like Bulgaria. Yep.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, maybe we can do a separate episode on your expressions. I mean, what did you experience in Bulgaria? But what are you
Yeah,
translating? Is it Spanish, Portuguese, and English? And
yeah, three languages exactly: Spanish, Portuguese, and English.
okay,
Those are the three languages I translate. I mainly do subtitling, so I translate for like series on Netflix or
oh, How did you find this
Yeah.
job? I'm curious.
Well, I'm not directly working for Netflix. I'm
Hmm.
like I'm an outsourcer. So I work for a company that works for another company and another company that works for Netflix.
I see. Wow, there is a lot of monkeys on the chain there, on the
Yeah.
brand. Okay. Well, as long as you're happy, as long as they don't cut your commission too much, then should be all right. uh,
Yeah.
okay,
Exactly.
that was very interesting. Argentina, who's born in Brazilian and but now living back in Argentina, like it's an interesting connection. Okay, I to be fair, I don't know much about Argentina, as we call it, or Argentina. But let's start then. How are we flying? Is it easy to go to Argentina because you are traveling to Europe as well, and most of the listeners and viewers are from Europe? How is it going there? Do I need to make a connection somewhere, or do I have a direct flight?
Well, last year I would have replied this very easily, but nowadays many connections were lost with COVID.
Hmm.
So things are quite different. So before we had like you're in London right now, right?
Yes.
So we had direct flight to London with Norwegian, but actually now Norwegian isn't working any longer in Argentina. So you can have direct flights from Barcelona or Madrid with Iberia.
And
Yeah, and you have some, yeah.
how long is that flight?
It should be, if it's only a direct flight, if it's a direct flight, should be about 13 hours.
13 hours. All right,
Yeah,
that's
12,
doable.
13.
That's
Ye-
doable in a way.
Yeah, yeah, I guess, yeah, yeah, it is.
Okay, so we arrive in Buenos Aires after 13 hours flight, and then what happens? I would assume the connections are not bad. Do would you say it's better to take bus, train, or some taxi or some other form of transportation when we arrive?
So I would say from the airport, a taxi would be okay. Private company, not just a taxi you see on the street. So
Mhm.
if you can find a private company, or you can also get an Uber, because there is Wi-Fi at the airport, which it doesn't happen in every city in South America, but in Buenos Aires you have Wi-Fi. You can yeah, call an Uber. There's also a bus that's called Tienda de León, Tienda de León, which means Lion Store. You can get that bus, and it's quite fast to get to Buenos Aires, to a neighborhood that is Retiro. And there you can get very easily, and it's cheaper. But anyway, I would say for the price, I could say that the cost of taxes in Europe, a taxi here should be okay.
Okay, fair point. Especially if we are, few people with and not just a solo traveler. And speaking of areas, which area would you advise us to stay in?
Oh, definitely Palermo. Palermo
Palermo.
is
That's the
the,
center, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, that's not really the center, because the center is like the um, more like the business area. So I wouldn't really recommend the center. Yeah, it's okay depending on what you want to do. Like
Hmm.
um, if you want to be near the obelisco, which is the main monument in Buenos Aires, it's okay. But I would say that it's better for yeah, especially for tourism. It's better Palermo. It's quite a safe area, and you can be sure that you can walk on the streets and will yeah, will hit you, will try to kill you. So
Wow.
uh, Palermo is a really nice area. It's more like the and I would say it's more like a relaxed area. There's many green parts in
Yeah.
many parks
And you
in
can see you're
Palermo.
close to the beach as well.
Yeah,
in a way.
I wouldn't call it a beach, but
No?
yeah, you could say. Yeah, it's the riverside. It's okay. You cannot really swim there, but yeah.
Okay, so that's not an option. Okay, okay. Because some rivers have beaches, so I was hoping there would be something. But you said that Palermo is kind of a good area, and that reminded me of a podcast I did about Philadelphia. Can you tell me areas that are not good and then we should avoid?
Mm, okay, so a very nice place to visit in Buenos Aires is La Boca. That's especially for football fans. I'm not sure if you know more about football or
It's
soccer,
it's
as they
Boca
say in
Juniors
America.
there, isn't it?
Exactly, Boca
Eh,
Juniors. So you know about football.
yes, yes. Go on.
So it's a very nice. You have the stadium. You have a Caminito that is a very colorful neighborhood. So that touristic area is very nice during the day. Don't go at night. But if you try to live a bit, the touristic area could be a bit dangerous.
Okay, you're talking about what Caminito?
About La Boca, it's
La Boca.
all that is inside the neighborhood of La Boca.
Okay, La Boca.
So that would be a place that you can visit as a tourist, but I wouldn't advise to stay too much there because could be a bit dangerous in some parts.
Mhm. Yeah, just had a look at La Boca, and you're right. All the houses are quite colorful in a way that reminds me of Camden Town here in London. I don't know if you have you.
Exactly. Yeah, 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 definitely. It has a lot to do. Yeah, it's quite similar to Camden Town.
Hmm. So it's the Buenos Aires, the Camden Town of Buenos Aires. Indeed, you just look around. There are just colorful buildings, a lot of people. Street shops selling clothing and souvenirs. So it's really, really like you know
Yeah,
Camden Town.
yeah, yeah. It's true. I haven't thought about it. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Perfect. And while we're on the subject, then what can we see? Okay, let's say we're gonna have our place in Palermo. Yeah, that's where we're gonna stay. So how we can we spread? I don't know, like 2 3 days. What can we do in Buenos Aires?
So Palermo is more like the has more like a young vibe. So there are many bars.
Perfect. We're
Is
all young,
more
right?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Forever
So
young.
it's not. I mean, there's not much history. There's some history, but it's more. Everything is more like modern. It's
Oh,
not.
okay. I see.
You cannot really find history in Palermo. You can find really nice restaurants, like the best restaurants in Buenos Aires are in Palermo.
Hmm, okay.
So you have a restaurant that won some prizes. That's the name is Don Julio. Don
Okay.
Julio is really good. And then actually this year I've been part because I'm a translator and I teach online, so I'm always with a computer. So I wanted to have some fun, some kind of job, hang out with people. So just before the quarantine started in Buenos Aires, that was in March, I was working as a tour guide in a food tour
Mm,
in Buenos Aires. So definitely all the tour was inside Palermo because you have the best restaurants there.
mm,
You can
mm.
find good barbecue, even though it's funny to say, even though I'm vegetarian. I can tell that the meat culture is very big in Argentina. It's more most like a ritual for
To have a
us
steak.
to have yeah, to have a not only to have a steak, but something that I haven't thought about before, but some people mentioned. Uh, Only like preparing the barbecue is a men thing. So
Hmm.
men prepare the barbecue most of, and they start very early. They start with having a glass of wine, and they could be cooking for hours on the cold
Only
and
cooking.
wood.
When we gonna eat?
Well, they start early, so if on especially on like it's common on Sundays for families to get together, and they could start cooking at, I don't know, 9, 10, 10 a.m. or a bit later, but we also eat later. You can
Mm.
eat, you can have lunch at 2 or 3 p.m. On a Sunday.
So when do you have dinner then? Is it like in Spain, like 10, 11 p.m.? So, yeah,
Yeah,
late dinner.
during the week should be about 9 p.m., but
Hmm.
on the weekends, definitely like 10 or 11.
No, okay. I googled on Julio and I can see it's a I can see it from now. It's a really nice restaurant because you have pictures on the wall of a cow and a pig, and you have these diagrams, what part of the cow, what you can eat from it, and then it's full with bottles, with wine bottles. So it's definitely just drink and eat there heavily, I would assume. So yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I can see how
exactly. You're
this
gonna have
restaurant is so famous. Yeah, looking nice.
all the steak. You can also have chorizo. Chorizo is like a beef pork. It's not like the one on Spain.
But
Chorizo, we
chorizo
call
is
it.
okay in Spain. Chorizo is like a sausage, isn't it?
It is a sausage as well, yeah, but it's slightly different because I think the one in Spain you need to eat it cold, right?
Not necessarily. I have eaten it
Not
warm as
necessarily.
well.
Okay.
Yeah, if it goes on tapas, you can because it comes with different sauces and you can eat it warm there.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In that case, is true. So yeah, it's quite similar. We also have that with the barbecue
Hmm.
wine, definitely red wine with. We always have red wine with the barbecue.
Okay. So
So
what's okay? I really ask you what we can see, and we, without noticing, we went into food. So okay, while we're on the food subject, then while we're talking about barbecues and wines, tell me things that you eat in Argentina that we probably don't know. Like one of them is I know that the steak is a big thing there. You eat a lot of steaks. I think that's what I know. Okay, that's correct. Tell
yeah,
me some
yeah.
meals that probably we don't know.
So Argentina has a very strong European influence. So I don't know if there's something so like there's some things that you can find, especially in the north of Argentina. But of course, the food from all over the country you can find in Buenos Aires. But
Mm.
some special food from the north of Argentina that is near Bolivia's border is the humita. That is like it's made of corn, so it's like a mashed corn, we could say, with cheese.
Humita, you said.
Another humita, yes, with starts with H. We have a
Yes,
silent H in
you don't read the
Spanish.
H. Yes, yes, yes. I
Exactly.
remember. So it's folded in a corn leaf as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's not something you can find only in Argentina. You can find it in many South American countries.
Okay. So wait, you
Um,
you have the corn which is boiled, and then you mash it and you add cheese in it and you fold it in a leaf of corn. Is that all?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's all. It's very simple.
Okay.
And another
How
thing we have.
how do you eat it? How do you eat this? Is it like a snack, or you eat it together with the main meal and just grab it? Do you dip it somewhere? How do you eat that?
You can. It depends. You can. It could be an entry. Like it's in general. It's not the main meal because it's not. It's not much.
Mm, yeah.
So in general, it's not the main meal. And then
Humitas.
we have
Okay.
another humitas. Yeah. Then
What's
we
the
have
next?
another one that's called locro.
Okay. Any silent
And
letters here that I need to be aware of?
no, 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 no. Locro, locro. So Locro.
Yeah, I got this right. Woo woo. Locro.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is this? Is there corn again, or chickpeas, or beans? What is this?
Yes, all of that. Yeah, exactly. So now
So
it's quite like
see
fancy.
what you have in your garden, put it there. Let's call it Locro.
Exactly, yeah. And then you use things like the nose of the pig, or the ears,
Wow.
or the leg, because this used to be like a typical slave food in the past.
For
So
slaves.
it was, yeah, exactly. Same like you can find the same kind of food in Brazil, feijoada. So
Okay.
these are, so all the things that masters had left.
That they
The
don't
slaves,
eat. They just
exactly, the slaves
okay.
used it for to eat. So nowadays it's a quite not a fun, a very national food. So national days we eat locro,
Hmm.
but in the past it was slaves food. Nowadays, you also use other kinds of meat, not only the nose or
Yeah.
the leg.
Yeah, I can see some chorizos popping in and some other type of meat. So is that a thing that it is only for Argent or originated in Argentina, or you can see it in other South American countries as well?
Mm, with that name, only in Argentina, but yeah, I saw very similar dishes in other countries as well, with other
Mhm.
names that I
Yeah, that
totally
that
forgot.
makes sense. So it's in South America, it's like every other region. So for example, you ask me about Bulgarian food, and I'm gonna tell you something, but you're gonna say, "Oh, that I ate it in Serbia." I'm like, "Yeah, you're gonna have it a different name, like Serbia, Romania. It's like Balkan area, like with Balkan food, and the same. You're gonna have it in Argentina. It's understandable." Okay,
Exactly,
locro,
exactly.
locro, and humitas. So far, I'm for humitas.
Well, me too, because I'm vegetarian.
Okay.
um, and then we have many meals that come from European meals, like I think in England it's called shepherd's pie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like made up with potatoes. We have the same. We also have this, or we have Spanish omelets, tortilla. We eat those
Ah.
as well. And
Mm-hmm.
something that is really big, actually, I
Yes.
think we eat it. People eat it even more than barbecue. Milanesas.
Oh, what is this? That
So,
sounds delicious, to be fair.
but you know it already, but with another name. It's like Schnitzel.
Schnitzel.
So
Ah,
it's,
me gusta. I love
uh,
schnitzel.
we call it Milanesa because
Yeah.
the ones that brought it here were people from Milan.
Ah, and the name stuck. So interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and we
Milanesa.
have Milanesa. We eat a lot of pizza in Buenos Aires. Pizza is very big. We have a
Mm.
pizza place every other block. When we have it, it's quite thick. It's not like in. It's more like New York style. So it's thicker and with a lot of cheese, as
Oh,
much cheese as you can.
a lot of pizza and a lot of cheese. Two of the things I enjoy a lot. I'm starting to like Buenos Aires more and more. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, those are things I actually miss when even though I can find similar things.
Yeah.
It's like the style could change a bit. It's just a
Okay.
matter of taste, right?
What about drinks then? Except the wine, which by the way, Argentina has a lot of popular wines.
A lot
Which
of
one?
Malbec, yeah,
Malbec.
Malbec
Malbec.
mainly. Hmm.
So except wines, are you drinking something else? Any beers or water, or is just you wake up, let's have some wine?
Well, actually, I think yeah, many people like wine, but I think beer is more popular perhaps than wine.
Not popular.
I mean, generally speaking, right? Uh, then we have a drink that is actually an Italian drink, but I think we drink it more here than in Italy. It's called Fernet. Fernet Branca. Have you heard of it? It's like a
Mm,
very it's an alcoholic drink made of herbs, different herbs. In Italy, I think they use it for when they have some stomach ache.
Okay.
But we have it together with Coke. So
Ah.
it's a very popular drink here, but I think some people don't like it.
Is it is it bitter?
Yeah, it's very bitter. That's why we use it with Coke.
I see. Yeah, it looks like one thing. So I used to work in hotels and I was an entertainer there. And what we had an entertainment was one of the perks is our lunch and our dinner. We had the option to eat it with tourists. And I enjoy that. I would sit with tourists like, "Hi, how's it going?" and this and that. And there was a German family once. And Germans, I love Germans. They will go and they will pick like, okay, two cucumbers, one meatball here, like really little, and they're gonna eat everything. And they see me like, "Phew, I have my plate with a peak on top. Like, oh, are you gonna eat all that?" I'm like, just watch me. And I finish it and I go for later for more. And he's like, "Oh, you're eating a lot." I'm like, "I'm burning so many calories here. What do you expect?" And then he gave me 3 bottles. "Look, this is good for digestion. Take it." So it wasn't that, but that's why I ask you if it's bitter. It's of the same principle. It's alcoholic and it's bitter. He's like, "Oh, schnapps, have it after meal. Good." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Okay,
yeah,
thanks."
yeah, exactly. It's very bitter. But yeah, people just drink it whenever they want. It's not something we just drink at a specific time. It's a very popular drink. But the most popular drink in Argentina isn't alcohol. Isn't an alcoholic drink.
It's coffee.
It's called mate, and I have it
Ah,
here.
I knew it. Mate. Yes, 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 yes. I did a podcast about China, and the girl was from Argentina, and she was having her mate as well. And I was thinking, like, I know what? I used to live with a girl from Argentina, and I don't know how this tastes because I don't think she shared it with me. Like, oh no, we usually share it. And
We usually share it. It's true.
so is everybody like? I remember seeing this. It looks so strange, and she was taking so much care of that. And so far, 3 Argentinians in my life that I met, and then it looks like you're traveling around with your mate.
Always. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like an extension of your hand.
Yeah, actually, so when we started our trip around Europe, we've been like 6 months without mate because we were very light. We only had like a 30-liter backpack.
Uh huh.
So we couldn't, like, we could take this, but we couldn't take uh, the recipient to hold the water, thermo. So we didn't have that. We couldn't take it. So, but then my mom came to visit us, and she was like, I was like, please bring mate. I need mate.
So hold on. So
It-
mate is the mug with the straw, or what is mate exactly?
we call the pot mate, and we also call mate the whole drink. So it's a herb that, so let's say 1 liter, if you drink 1 liter, has the same effect of a cup of coffee. So it keeps you
Okay,
awake, but it's not as
it's not that
aggressive as
strong.
coffee.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yes,
interesting.
exactly. But it's more like cultural, so it's a matter of being together, sharing. Like in other countries, it's the same with tea, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Okay.
But
So
we all share the same.
how this mate came together? Like how all these things started?
Well, actually, it started before Argentina was Argentina because it's an indigenous tradition.
Oh,
So
okay.
it has many, many years. I believe it comes from Guarani, um, one of the indigenous tribes that
Mhm.
we have. Especially, they're very popular in Paraguay. It's Paraguay, north of Argentina, south of Brazil, and part of Uruguay. And actually, Paraguay and Uruguay are Guarani words for Guarani.
Are
So
what? What are
they are
they?
words that come from the Guarani language.
Oh, okay.
And they have their own language that now is actually also an official language in Paraguay. And they are
Hmm.
the ones that had mate, and when the Spanish started coming to this part of the world, they liked it, and they acquired it. So it's
Interesting,
just
because they didn't bring it to Europe, or I think they don't. They didn't, because I don't see that in Europe.
no, no, it's not popular. I think in some countries they drink it. Like some people told me that you could find mate in Poland, and it's one of the biggest consumers of yerba mate. That is the herb. We call it
Hmm.
yerba mate. One of the biggest consumers are people from Syria and Lebanon.
Interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Hmm. Okay, mate. Um, Perfect. So we had some food, we had the drink, and so mate. It's one last question about the mate. So, is there anything like the mug mate belongs? You need to have a connection with it in a way, like everybody has a different mug log that represents the person. Is there something like that, or not really?
Not really. Perhaps the difference would be the way we drink it. Some people put sugar on it, some people don't. Then we have yeah. It depends on how much water you put. The water shouldn't be boiling because otherwise you're going to burn the herb, and
Mm,
you won't have a lot of minutes, so it won't taste very well.
mm-hmm.
And then what we do is one important thing, which you should never move the straw.
Why?
It's forbidden because otherwise you can make it. It will be harder to drink it. The water won't come up the way it should. So you never should move steer the straw.
So you
And
put
what we
you
do?
Yeah, go on.
No, yes, please.
So I'm
What's your
just trying to
question?
understand. So you have a this thermos, as you say, which is a bottle that's gonna preserve it. You put some herbs inside. You put warm water. You leave it for, I don't know, 1 hour, and then when you put it in, you don't put just water, but you put also herbs in your mate.
So the main thing of the mate is the herb. So first you put the herb, and then you put the straw, you put the water.
So you don't put the herb in the thermos. You put the herb in the mate.
Only here, exactly. Yeah. The
Okay,
thermos is only for the water.
I see.
And then
Interesting.
once you pour the water, you drink it, and when you finish, you give it to the other person. But it's always the
Ah,
same person that pours the water and give it to the next person.
why?
We all share the same. We all share the same because it's easier to remember who's the next if it's only one person doing it.
It
Uh,
that reminds me, and the way it looks on the screen is like a pipe in a way, and it reminds me of a pipe.
yeah,
You you put stuff, you smoke it, you okay, you refill it after that. Very very interesting, mate. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay. So we had food, we had drinks. Let's talk about some history and some sightseeing. So you said in Palermo it's more like new. Is there any like quickly, any landmark or two in Palermo that we need to pay attention to before we go to where we have history somewhere?
So there is a main square that is called Plaza Serrano. And in this main square, you can find most bars. So it's very nice. You can uh, something quite interesting about Buenos Aires that I
Yeah.
know same happens in other cities, but not in many. So the night starts at let's say midnight. If you want to go to go out dancing. The
Yeah.
night starts at 1 a.m. And then you can be awake until 6 or 7 a.m. And you will see
Wow.
people in the street during the whole night.
Wow. So hold on, that's the square. Am I correct? It's called Plaza Serrano, like Jamon Serrano. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, so that's the popular name. So nowadays they changed the name. It's called
Ah,
Plaza Julio Cortázar. That is a very famous Argentinian writer.
okay.
Yeah, but the popular name, because they changed very recently, the popular name is Plaza Serrano. And then you have other squares that are very nice. You have the forest of Palermo that have like a lake in the middle that is very nice. You have the planetarium and yeah, mainly Plaza Armenia also. The Armenian community in Buenos Aires is really big. So they
Okay.
have their own square, Plaza Armenia. And yeah, that's mainly, it's really nice to walk on the streets in Palermo. You can find a lot of street art in Palermo, a lot of street art.
Mhm.
So you just walk around and you will find some painting in the wall that you like, things like that.
Okay. So
And
so help me out here. I'm a fan of the saying that there is no stupid question, so I'm just gonna put out that now. Um, I was thinking that Spanish went, and Spanish were taking over Argentina and they were ruling, but then you said that Milanesa, the Italians went there, and also Palermo is Italian. It's an Italian city. So,
yeah,
what's the
you're right.
Italian influence there, and what is happening with that?
Well, culturally speaking, I think we are more conquered by Italians than Spanish, perhaps, or both in a way. But so Argentina has been a country that opened for immigration. So we've had all sorts of immigration. Actually, we also have a Bulgarian community here.
Of course,
In a,
I am not
of
surprised
course,
at all. Seriously, I'm not surprised.
in a city called Berisso, there is a very big Bulgarian community. And then we have all sorts of immigration, but I think the biggest immigration was from Spain, Italy, and Germany.
Oh yeah, I
So
think
though,
after the Second World War, a lot of Germans went to Argentina to try and save themselves.
before as well,
Oh,
before as
before as
well.
well.
Yeah, so by the end of 19th century, yeah, until after the Second World War.
Mhm.
So we have many communities here, but we're mainly influenced, or not mainly, but in a way we're influenced because of the food. We eat a lot of pasta, apart from pizza
Mhm.
and Milanesa, and we also have faina. We eat a lot of pasta, and also the sweets we have mainly from Italy.
But you say
Uh,
your influence, and it's more like tourism style, that people moving to live in Argentina now. But what about back in the days with the ships when they came and conquered the lands? Were there any Italians
yeah,
at all there? There were Italians as well.
yeah. Most of us are Italian descendants, I
I
must
see.
say. And so by the end of the 19th century and beginning of 20th century, we had a really big Italian immigration. And so even the way we speak is kind of has a lot of Italian influence as
Do
well.
you move your hands a lot
We move our
when you
hands a
speak?
lot. We have special gestures. Exactly. Yes.
Give me
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
gesture.
Okay. So what we do is we put our hands in the elbow, and this means that you are stingy, that you don't want to waste money.
So wait, so if you speak to somebody, like if you speak to me like, Pavel, and you're gonna do that?
Yeah. I'm going to do this because I see that you don't want to spend much money.
I see. Okay. Or you're gonna be
we do,
talking
we
to
do like
someone else.
this. Yeah.
You're
Mhm.
gonna be talking to someone else and be like, leave Pavel, he doesn't want to spend money. And then I'm gonna be
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
what are you talking about, eh?
Yeah, 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 exactly. And another gesture that for I think for many cultures is a kind of aggressive,
Yeah.
but for us it isn't. Is we do
Ah,
like
yeah.
this, and it means I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, so basically, your hand, for those of you listening, your hand slides your throat and goes out at the bottom of your chin. It's like, and
Not
that
not
is
only that, and we put our gesture like in the gesture in the face should be like putting
the
the
like
face a
a
bit down,
is that like a sad face or like a
but it's like
questioning
yeah,
face?
questioning face, questioning face. So
Okay,
I don't know. Mhm.
I see. But yeah, I think you're right. This is an aggressive gesture in some other cultures, but that is the magic
It
of
is.
traveling. I think it is. Yeah. Okay. How about some? Tell us some history. Some history. Do you know something? Some stories. Some places. Some monuments. Something from the history. Would you be able to
Okay.
surprise us?
So I told you about the most modern neighborhood
Yes.
in Argentina. So now I will tell you about the
Oldest.
oldest neighborhood
Yes.
in
Me
Argentina.
gusta. What's the
San
name?
Telmo. San
San
Telmo.
San Telmo. Okay.
San Telmo.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a very nice neighborhood. There are many, we call them conventillos. So they were like old houses where, especially where immigrants used to live all together. So you had these houses that we call Casa Chorizo because it's long as a chorizo. you have you have the house that is very very long, and you have people living in different rooms, and in the center they got together to talk or dance tango or things like that.
Dance tango in the house, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. In the center of the house, they could also dance tango. And so in this neighborhood, actually, this neighborhood ago was a rich area, quite a rich area. Was near the port, near the river.
Hmm.
But then what happened? I believe it was at the end of the 20th century, beginning of the 20th. Sorry, end of 19th century, beginning of the 20th. It was the yellow fever, and so many people had this fever, especially in this neighborhood that was is the south of Buenos Aires. So it's an area that is easily flooded as well.
Hmm.
So rich people from there moved and went to the north. So now that's why the richest areas in Buenos Aires are in the north part of the city.
Uh-huh.
For example, where Palermo is. Have Palermo, Recoleta. Those are some of the richest neighborhoods
But would you say that
in
area now is, poor
kind of,
or like medium?
yeah. The south part of the city is the poorest part. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it's very nice. Still, many foreigners live in San Telmo,
Mm-hmm.
but if you see the streets is kind of empty, you should be a bit careful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, is there any fact that you can say that you can share from that area? Is there something else? Would you say, or something else that
Uh,
you can see?
in that area, well, mainly it's near the center, so it's near the government house. We call it Casa Rosada, so the pink house. So it's very near the pink house. It's very near the Cabildo. That is where we started the independence. And it's also near, yeah, very historical places, state government buildings,
So, what is
and it's
casa?
very.
So what is Casa Rosada actually?
That is the government house. It's like
At the
White
government
House,
house.
but it's pink. The
Okay,
pink
so the
house.
pink house. So can you go inside?
Yeah, depends. Certain days you can, not all the time, but you can visit like a restricted area. You need to book in advance if you want to get a place to enter.
Hmm.
But it was also very nice. Is there is a museum about Argentinian history right next to the Pink House that not
Ah,
many people know about.
okay. Okay, okay. So when was the independence?
So was 9th of 1816,
1816. What was the day?
9th of July.
9th of July, 1816. Okay. Okay. Rosada.
And yeah, Argentina was one of the first countries to become independent in South America. Uh, it was almost yeah at the same time Chile, Argentina, Bolivia.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. One of the first ones. Well done. Okay. Anything else we can see?
So you also have an area called Puerto Madero, that is the area of the port. It's quite. It actually looks a lot like the main area with in the river of London. Looks not the same, but you can see that they try to imitate a bit uh, this part.
Okay. Are you referring to Canary Wharf in London?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly, exactly. You could say that. So that area is also very nice. There is a reserve, a natural reserve, very near this area,
Mm-hmm.
and then in Buenos Aires, yeah, that's mainly it. You have a lot of events, many things going on, many places to go to the theater or listen to music. And many of them are for free also, so it's very nice to visit Buenos Aires.
Hmm.
And an interesting fact, also not nowadays, of course, but usually you can go you can walk at night, uh, very late at night, 1, 2, 3 p.m. And you can see many bookstores that are open, bookstores selling old books.
Bookstores, 1 a.m. in the morning. Who's buying books at
Yeah,
that time?
that's it's very fun, very funny. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen this anywhere else.
But
So it's
why?
some there are people going to buy books. I'm not
They
sure
go 1 a.m. Really? They go and buy books? I would think people just
because
go and get
uh,
some.
we yeah, but we have a lot of mate during the whole day. So then we are very awake at night.
Okay,
And
makes
another
sense. Another one?
another nice fact is there is a very nice bookstore called Grand Splendid. It's called.
Uh-huh.
It's a very nice bookstore that is it used to be a theater. So you go inside the bookstore and you are like into a theater. It's very nice.
Is it always? Oh, yeah, it looks very nice indeed. It looks like a theater. You're very right. Is it also open late at night?
No, not this one.
Okay,
Not
I
this
will.
one.
Yes, I will imagine that because I don't know if somebody who's tipsy or a bit more drunk enters and start doing bad stuff, you know, playing, throwing the books around, which this looks really like a sophisticated place. It seems like a place that you should enter with a tie. You should dress up for that place.
Yeah, no, no. You don't need that. You don't need to do that.
Oh, where is this bookstore?
So it's on the way between the downtown and Palermo.
No, in between. Okay, perfect. It's not a.
In
It's not
between.
that you need to go somewhere far, far away. It's
No,
it's.
no, 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 exactly.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, I don't know. There are many places to go and visit in Buenos Aires. Many places where you can go and eat outside. If you have the opportunity to gather with local people, it's also really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Many people speak English, but anyway, um, it's not everyone. So it's also nice to learn some words of Spanish. Even though if you speak Spanish from Spain, probably you're not going to understand an Argentinian because we speak very differently.
Well, is it really, really different? Like, are you serious saying that you're not gonna be able to understand if you speak Spanish?
I mean, here people like it if you speak some Spanish, so make an effort
Uh-huh.
to understand you.
Yeah.
But we're also very proud about our way of speaking, so we'll also try to teach you. People will try to teach you some expressions, some local expressions.
Uh-huh. Okay, okay. Okay, so learn some Spanish, know English, be ready to learn some Argentinian in a way.
Yes, exactly. And actually, that's why I haven't mentioned before. I just started a podcast about
Woo!
Argentinian Spanish.
Hold
That
on,
is
your podcast is about language,
yeah,
so
exactly.
it's in Spanish.
It's in Spanish. Yeah,
Okay,
it's actually I don't teach Argentinian Spanish. I just speak in Argentinian Spanish very slowly for people to understand to see the difference.
okay. So, what are you talking about in that podcast?
Could be anything about cultural facts about Argentina, a
What
different
about your
part of the
recent
country.
podcast with Pavel?
Sorry?
Or about
Oh
your
yeah,
recent podcast with
exactly.
Pavel?
Yeah, yeah,
Here is the
exactly.
subject. Here is the subject for your next episode. Your set. How often do you release episodes?
So I'm just starting. So my idea would be once every 2 or 3 weeks. But
Mhm.
then with time, I hope I can do it more often.
I'm crossing my
Uh,
fingers to you so you can do it more often.
Thank you.
And definitely we're gonna leave link to your podcast in the description. Okay. Thanks so much for your tour. Oh, I just saw now in the picture that is still open here that this bookstore that looks like a theater is 100 years old.
Yeah, yeah, it's very old. It's a
It
very
was a
old.
theater before and they converted it into a bookstore. So it's actually it's still a theater in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Really amazing.
And also, I forgot to say that there are some very nice old buildings in Buenos Aires. Many, really, we have many coffee shops,
Uh-huh.
many
You mean
coffee
mate
places.
shops?
Actually, in Buenos Aires, people drink more coffee than in other parts of Argentina. Even though we all drink mate in our house, we only do it at home. We don't drink in a coffee place. And so in coffee stores, we only drink coffee. And we get together with friends and yeah, have a
Mhm.
coffee. We have a very old coffee shop that's called, is the name is Tortoni.
Cafe Tortoni. I like the name.
Caffè Tortoni.
Is this 100 years old as well?
Yeah, it's the oldest coffee store that is still open.
Love it.
So
How
it's a
how old is
really
that? Do you
nice.
know?
It should be about 100 years old as well, I think, or even a bit older.
And I
So it's a
and I
really beautiful, really nice place to go, but try not to drink coffee because, in my opinion, they don't have good coffee.
Ah,
Chocolate is better. If you have hot chocolates, or if you want to have something like yeah, like a beer or cider, then that's better. But the coffee isn't the best. Is the best coffee you can have is in Palermo.
ah, okay.
There you
So
have more professional places for
Okay.
coffee.
So this coffee, I quickly check online, and this coffee shop, Tortoni, is open in 1858. So it's more than 100 years, almost like 150 years,
Yeah,
and was opened by a
yeah,
French immigrant.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Mhm. Really, really
It's very.
curious. Yeah. Okay. Well, perfect. Thanks so much for that. Would you have any closing statement to, I don't know, any final words or any wishes or whatever you have on your heart?
So I could speak about Buenos Aires and Argentina the whole day, of
Okay.
course. But no, I hope you can come and visit. We're always with the arms open to foreigners. So it's this country is in the southernmost part of the
When you
world.
have
So
your hands open, sorry to interrupt, do you have mate in both hands so I can take one of the mates and start drinking?
yeah, yeah. Now it's more difficult because we need to use one each. But
Ah, yeah, Corona times. Yeah, I'm so, as I told
exactly.
you, you're my third Argentinian, and I so want to try this now. Next person I meet, hopefully it's gonna be live, and I'm gonna ask him or her when we're gonna have some mate.
Yeah, they will love it. Definitely, they will love it. We're really proud of mate. But I advise you to have it with a bit of sugar first time, perhaps, until
Mm,
you get used to it.
okay, just a bit. How about honey? Can you put honey?
You can, yeah, definitely,
Okay,
definitely, you can put honey as well.
we'll do that. We'll do that. Okay. So any, sorry to interrupt you about the honey that you're waiting for us with open arms in Argentina. Was there something else you were going to say after that?
No, yeah, that's. I hope you all can come and visit Argentina and visit Buenos Aires and have a lot of fun.
Okay.
Uh,
How can you say thank you in Argentinian?
gracias,
Ah, I thought you're gonna surprise me with something else. Gracias.
muchas gracias.
Ah, no, doesn't count. Okay, so some
Son
words are
bienvenidos.
so
Son
some word
bienvenidos.
so, but that's what does it say? Some be
Son bienvenidos. That means you're
You're
all
welcome.
welcome.
Okay. I thought you're gonna surprise me with some word that I don't know, like because you said it's if you speak Spanish, maybe you won't understand everything. So I was hoping for something else that I know. I don't know. But anyway,
Well, yeah, I could use che. That's a word we use a lot. It means hey, but not to say goodbye. Unfortunately, I don't have special words to say goodbye in Argentinian Spanish.
what did you say? Hey,
Yeah, che. We say che.
che. Ah, che is hey, like hey, how's it going?
Yeah, or when you want to call someone's attention.
Ah, che. Interesting. In Italian, they have che, but it's more like what the hell? I think.
Yeah, could be taken from Italian. We don't know. Many of our words are taken from Italian.
Mm. Mhm. Okay. Well, Mariel, thanks so much for joining us and for walking us through Buenos Aires. It was a pleasure. I wish you good luck with the podcast. We're going to link that up in the description. And I wish you a fantastic evening.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for letting me be part of your podcast. And okay, I hope you all a good evening. Thanks a lot. Muchas gracias.